Welcome back. So let's recap what happened last night over at the Huset Tussle, the $100,000 to win feature at the Huset Speedway in Brandon, South Dakota. We already talked about what happened on the prelim night in yesterday's video, and now today we're going to talk about the finale for this particular portion of the week. And then tonight is the prelim night for the Highbank Nationals, which pays $250,000 to the winner. So we've got our bullet points over here, things that I would like to talk about. We've got the finishing order over here. The black number next to the driver's actual car number is where they finished in the race. The red number is where they started at. And I've got a couple of green numbers here as well. That is the amount of money that a few drivers made in this main event, which was $2,000 to start, just to keep that in mind. Pretty good starting amount. I believe on Saturday it's actually $5,000 to start. So if I'm not mistaken, if you make every single main event this week and you run dead last, it's $5,000 plus 2. So that's 7 plus another 3, I believe. So it's like 10 grand to make all the shows if you just run dead last. So definitely good start money over at Huset this week. Now let's get into the bullet points here. And there was no qualifying today, which I think really helped, or I guess yesterday, which really helped the track, in my opinion, and the track crew when it came to the heat races. All there was 6 hot lap sessions for the 6 heat races, and the track was immediately better. It was phenomenal, I thought, for the heat. I mean, the first couple, like the first 2 heats, obviously it's going to be a little bit juiced up. But as the heats went on, it got slicker, it got tougher to run. It wasn't like you were hammered down the entire way around the racetrack, but it was way better. And hopefully they will have it like that today for the prelim nights, because that's when it counts the most, is when you have the passing points on the line. That is when you need the track to be like that. The first night, the prelim night, the track was terrible. You could not pass anybody in the heat races, but that was definitely not the case, in my opinion, on the heat races from yesterday. So hopefully they have that track like that tonight for the guys that qualify well. They start 6th. They can pass a couple of cars. That would be huge for some of those guys. So nice job to the track crew for the heat race track yesterday. Heat race number 5 was just bonkers. The wheels fell off in that one. The track was slick AF, as you can see. I wrote that there. AF, if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's a little bit of slang. I know there's some older gentlemen that watch this channel. AF, check it out on Google. But it was slick. And in that heat race, you had Donnie Schatz, you had Chase Randall, Ryan Timms, Caleb Johnson, and Garrett Williamson. They were all trying to murder each other out there. I mean, Schatz and Williamson were in the 2. They were 2nd and 3rd. I can't even remember who was leading the heat race because it was so crazy back behind. I want to say Brad Sweet was leading that heat race, but everybody else on the track was basically just trying to straight line each other in the corners. And it was entertaining to watch. Garrett Williamson hit the wall a couple of times, running a transfer. Him and Ryan Timms are sliding each other back and forth, and then Williamson blew the rear end out of it, and that allowed Chase Randall to move up into the transfer spot. Ryan Timms kind of slid him a few times, and it was very entertaining. Heat race number 5 was maybe the best part of the entire night yesterday. Good stuff there between those couple of drivers. And there was a couple of guys that, like Caleb Johnson, man. I feel like Caleb Johnson, if he starts in the first 2 rows of a feature for the rest of the week, I honestly think he has a chance to win. That car looks so good. He just hasn't had any really good luck so far in the first 2 nights of this week so far. Garrett Williamson, he started 2nd in that heat race. He ended up in the 9th spot. He went to the work area, as I mentioned, was not able to get that car fixed. And so his night would not go too well, but I feel like he has shown speed the first 2 nights so far. Top 5 on the prelim night. And then last night he was, running the transfer spot and got into the wall. The winners of the heat races were Bill Baylog, David Gravel, Kyle Larson, Buddy Kofoid, Anthony Macri, and Brad Sweet. And they would all go to the King of the Hill, which Baylog, with a shocking upset, in my opinion, in that King of the Hill dash. The King of the Hill, if you aren't familiar, is 2 cars on the track at the same time. They run 2 laps. Whoever runs basically the fastest lap time is going to move on to face the next guy in line. And so I don't remember the first pairing. Maybe it was like Macri and, was it Macri and Sweet? Maybe, I can't remember. But, the guy that beats the first guy, he'll move on to the next one and try and improve his starting spot. But Bill Baylog beat Kyle Larson in that King of the Hill dash, which was honestly shocking. To me, I thought that Larson for sure would get the job done there. But Baylog would win it. He would start on the pole, And Bill Balog, he is doing more with less than anybody else in the field, in my opinion, when it comes to the full-time Outlaw guys. He does not have the Roth Motorsports funding. He does not have the Tony Stewart Racing funding. Bill Balog is getting the job done with way less than the rest of the field, and it is fun to watch. And I'm not going to lie, I was cheering for him watching from the couch last night. And that King of the Hill was taking place on a pretty freshly reworked racetrack. I want to hear your thoughts. Would you have rather seen that happen maybe like after the C-Main? The C-Main had a bunch of cars in it. It was like 10-some laps. Would you have rather seen the King of the Hill on a track where there's kind of a little bit more skill that it takes to get around? Or would you rather be like hammered down for these guys? I think I'd like to see it where they have to maybe lift a little bit and it be a little bit trickier to run a good lap. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but the King of the Hill, I don't hate it at all. I think I'd rather maybe see it be one car at a time just to kind of build the suspense a little bit more. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on the King of the Hill. Now, in the C-Main, the transfers were Chris Wyndham, Landon Crawley, Riley Goodnow, and Jack Dover. And then in the B-Main, the transfers were Ashton Torgerson, who, I mean, for as much flack as that kid got when he got in the 1A, I feel like he has done pretty well. First time to Huset, start on the pole the prelim night, then he wins the B-Main. Ryan Timms was second in that. Sheldon Hodenshield, Kerry Madsen, Aaron Reitzel, and Caleb Johnson were the other transfers in that one. And it was an entertaining battle all the way through from about fourth on back. Ryan Timms started in row 3 or 4, but he made his way quickly to second, and he stayed there. But after that, from about 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, it was chaos back there, and it was a lot of fun to watch in that B-Main. The track was getting to where, I don't know, I feel like Huset's, when it gets slick, it is so hard to find grip off the corners. A lot of guys almost utilizing the wall to get down the straightaway. And so that was what was going on there. Caleb Johnson did a great job making his way into the transfer spot after what had happened in the heat race. He actually went to the work area in the heat race, came back out, and then put himself still in a decent spot for the B-Main. And poor Zach Hampton. Him and Casey Kane were battling for the final transfer spot, and Hampton was about to make his way around the outside of Casey Kane. They got together. Hampton hits the wall, and then going into the first corner, as he was trying to get back up to speed, somebody came by on the inside, ran over his front end, and it folded it up. But Hampton looked like maybe he was going to get that last transfer spot. Unfortunately, he ended up on the wrecker anyways in that number 6 car. And then in the feature, Bill Balog, very, very fast to start the main event. And, the main event, this is what we have at Huset's, right? This is what happens when you go there. The feature on a 40-lapper is going to be almost completely reworked, right? They don't touch the middle very much, but the bottom and the top, it is a full farm session for 20-something minutes, 25 minutes last night to try and make sure that it does not take rubber in the feature event. And so for the first, 15 laps, it was right around the bottom. Everybody hugging the inside berm, trying to burn off that moisture. Then they got to traffic. Balog starts to move up a little bit. And Buddy Kofoid would take the lead briefly in traffic. Then Balog would cross back underneath of him. And then it seemed like Balog kind of faded a little bit there towards the middle portion of the race. Kofoid would drive away after taking the lead on lap number 29. Kofoid did lead lap 14, but Balog would lead lap 1 through 13 and 15 to 28. And then, like I said, in traffic, Balog just did not have a car to get off of the corner. That's where it seemed like he was struggling, was getting off of the corner, especially in turn 2. And that is where Kofoid was able to take the lead. And he would never look back, and he would win $100,000 2 years in a row over at the Huset Highbank Nationals. Now, I did want to say this was cool to see as well. Green to checkered. I don't remember there being a yellow. Unless I'm mistaken, my internet did shit the bed for like 5 seconds, and I didn't see a couple laps. But I don't think there was a caution in this race, which is pretty impressive. And then Kofoid, we talked about it in Monday's video, man. He was not going to be denied for this win, and I think he's got to be the guy to watch for $250,000 on Saturday. That car gets off the corner better than anybody else that I have seen so far this week. I honestly think another guy that gets off the corner good is Caleb Johnson. He has not had any luck the entire week. But Buddy Kofoid, by far the class of the field right now over at Huset Speedway. And I don't know. I think that he's going to be $350,000 richer by the end of the week. But at the end of the race, Kyle Larson and Tyler Courtney, they both started picking cars off. Larson had dropped all the way back to 5th or 6th at one point in this main event after starting 2nd. He was slow to start this race. I mean, very slow. Started 2nd, was in 3rd by lap 1, and he was just kind of losing spots every couple of laps. he would be fifth or sixth, and then he'd come back to rally back to third. And then Tyler Courtney, he started eighth. He fell back early, but was able to rebound to get a top 5 finish there in the 7BC car. And then David Gravel, did he look kind of pedestrian last night? I felt like he did not show speed to win this race at any point in time, which was relatively surprising. He started fourth and just ran fourth. And I don't know if that's the track. I don't know if their car just wasn't very good. But David Gravel last night did not look like a guy that was going to contend for 250 grand on Saturday night. I'm not sure what was going on there, but it was definitely an interesting sight to see him not contending for the win after starting in row number 2. So over here to this side, Buddy Kofoid, he started third, got the win, $100,000 for him. Bill Baylog leading a bunch of laps, finishing second, $25,000 for second place last night. And congrats to Baylog. I mean, like I said, doing more with less. That's what he has always done. And I think a lot of people were cheering on Bill Baylog last night, but comes up just a little bit short there in the end. Kyle Larson with a $12,000 third place run. David Gravel fourth, and Tyler Courtney rounded out the top 5. Brad Sweet started sixth, ran sixth, so nothing crazy there from him. How about Hunter Schurenberg with a 7th place finish? He started 9th, ran 7th. That might be his best finish of the year with the Outlaws. I'd have to take a look, but it's got to be close. A great run for Schurenberg and a Vermeer Motorsports car, and his teammate also made the show. So just a great night all around for Vermeer Motorsports. Donnie Schatz with an 8th place finish, Anthony Macri 9th, and Rico Abreu was the hard charger in this one. He went +6 to a 16th to 10th run. Gio Scelzi, Carson Macedo, Tanner Thorson drew the 18 in the redraw, and he would end up in 13th. Spencer Basin 14th, and 15th went to Sheldon Hodenshield. Then Ryan Timms, he was able to make the show after having a tough prelim night. Christopher Bell, Chase Randall, Tim Kading, and Caleb Johnson, the top 20. And then Ashton Torgerson, after winning the B main, he would end up in 21st. Brian Brown, Aaron Reitzel, and the 55V of Kerry Madsen round out the field. As we mentioned earlier, Baylog leading laps 1 through 13 and 15 to 28. Kofoid leading lap 14 and 29 to 40 for the $100,000 payday. Now, let me know your thoughts. What do you guys think of everything that happened last night at Huset Speedway? What do you think about the format? In my opinion, the track from last night needs to happen today for the Highbank Nationals prelim, and I think there'd be a lot less complaining about the format if that was the case, if they had a good racetrack for the heat races. But they do have to qualify tonight, so you got to keep that into account. That's a lot of laps on the racetrack. So let me know your thoughts on everything that happened last night. Also, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll talk to you again later today. I am going to try and do a video as well recapping last night at the Dirt Cup at Skagit Speedway. A surprise winner in that one. So stay tuned for that. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.